Welcome to the Mindfulness Broadcast. I'm glad you're here and welcome. My name is Tiffany Grimes. If we haven't had the opportunity to meet, I'm with Empower Coaching and Training, and this is a free offering every Friday, 8:15 to 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. And then we also offer the Mindful Masterclass, which is the third Wednesday of every month, 8 to 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, and it is also a free offering. So if you want that invitation, make sure we have your email in the chat. It's also in our newsletter, so if you get that, you'll see that there. All right, I want to focus this week on, so I follow the WNBA, women's basketball. We're going into All-Star Week. It's this really exciting time, and people get to All-Star Week by getting voted in by their peers, by WNBA professionals outside of players, and then also by fans. And what ends up happening is we get kind of becomes this like popularity vote is the feeling, and really amazing players get snubbed. And what has come of that is this conversation, this greater conversation about microaggressions and how women, especially women of color within the WNBA, experience these microaggressions on a very regular basis. And so anyway, I've been following that this week. It's fascinating to watch it play out. It's sad to see it still playing out. And then yesterday, or I guess maybe this morning, in my inbox, I subscribed to a newsletter from University of Berkeley in California. It's called Greater Good Magazine, and I just put it in the chat. And it's all on neural training and mindfulness. And so they had an article this morning about micro kindness as kind of this anarchist move we can do towards microaggressions, and really how these micro choices that we're making, conscious or unconscious, impact us and impact the world around us and kind of ripple out in these really profound ways. So I also want to put in the chat an article about microaggressions in the workplace. As I was doing some deeper research just prepping for today, I, was embarrassed to see, oh my God, I do some of these accidentally, and I don't mean them as aggressions, but they may be received as aggressions, and that is important for me to know and to stop doing immediately, because if what I'm doing to give as a compliment or to be curious, I want to make sure it is received in that way, and that the ripple effect I'm causing is what I intend, right? And so anyway, this was just really a profound and good work for me. And every time I go looking at this, I realize, oh, there's a growth area I can have here, or something that I can let go of here. And it's just really great work for me to continue to practice being the kind of person I want to be with people. And so I wanted to just kind of talk about this a little bit, and then we're going to use our practice to think about micro kindness. So I'm going to get over to the article because I want to read their definition of microaggression. I really liked the definition. I have to get over here. So microaggressions, they defined as brief, often everyday words or behaviors that communicate disrespect, exclusion, or contempt. And again, I want to say that sometimes these are done very consciously, very strategically, and sometimes they're done unconsciously without really, thinking about it. Definition of unconscious. So when we might, for example, tell a little girl to smile more, to be more welcoming, to greet people, right, in this way that we might not do to a little boy, or what they're allowed to climb or play on, or the types of games they're allowed to play versus a little boy, or vice versa, how we kind of award maybe behaviors in little boys that keep them in stereotypes or keep them entrenched in something that keeps them smaller than they want. We do this with people of color. We do this with people with disabilities. We do this with people other than us and who we are and what we look like. and really thinking about that and the impact, and that it's this constant kind of pushing back without really saying it overtly, and that it can have this impact of encouraging others to stay smaller, stay quiet. The opposite of that is micro kindness. And what I want to be clear about is micro kindness in no way is to brush aside systemic changes that need to happen, right? But it's these smaller ways that we can purposefully show up every day. And the way they define micro kindness is this small acts that affirm, that encourage, that repair, that include. So thinking about how we might use our words, how we might greet somebody that we might not otherwise greet. We see somebody on the street and we might say hello or good morning, or when we greet somebody in the morning, rather than just a hi, how are you, as kind of one sentence that really ends in a period and not in a question mark, we really pause. How are you? Right? Or that we hold the door, or that we clean the refrigerator at work before we leave for the day, or whatever it is, right? We think about these small ways that we can impact other people quietly, small ways that we can impact the world around us. And specifically, I want to talk about the way that that impacts us internally. So the feeling of connecting, that feeling of caring, that feeling of positively impacting, even if we don't see it, right? So we pick up some plastic that we found and we throw it away. We don't know necessarily in that moment the impact that it had, but it has an impact on us, knowing I'm acting in alignment with my values. I'm helping some little animal maybe not ingest this or turn into microplastics that get involved in the ecosystem. There are these ways that it's impacting us regularly. So a micro kindness is kind of defined as like takes 5 seconds or less of our time, and something that can be repeatable many times throughout the day. It can be even us thinking positively about a situation, sending kind of good wishes or good vibes towards something that we know somebody is doing that they might be nervous or fearful of. So thinking about, how do I purposefully bring awareness to microaggressions I may be doing and not meaning to, and the impact that that's having on me and the world around me. And we're wired to connect, so that's all just kind of circulating in itself. And how I can purposefully get involved in micro kindness many times throughout every day, and what that does for me internally, what that does for the world around me. And again, that's always looping. So that's always going back and forth with each other. So I hope you find interest in these 2 articles. Again, I put the links in the chat, so they're over there if you want to go a little bit deeper. We're going to use our practice today to focus on micro kindness. So go ahead and close your eyes, or you can take a soft gaze and just come into your body this morning. Kind of move it around and welcome it, moving your shoulders if you want, or dropping your ear to your shoulders. You might move kind of back and forth or side to side, finding your balance point, bringing your feet flat on the floor, or whatever version of all of those things that you want or can do. And then allowing your breath to fully enter this body. I've been lately sharing the work of James Nestor. All of last week's practice was dedicated to that, which is that science of belly breathing. So we won't dive into that this morning, but I will invite you to soften your belly You might feel it push against your pants or your shirt, and that's okay. Fill your belly with your breath, and then allow it to exhale. And just breathing at whatever cadence works for you this morning, just bringing that breath deeper each time and elongating the exhale each time. Bringing the breath all the way into the belly. These bottom far reaches of our lungs is where the max amount of exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide and all that magic that happens in our breathing. A lot of that power of that lies in those bottom regions of our lungs. So bring our breath all the way down. And then this morning, we're going to do a little visualization in our practice. And I know folks meet visualization practices in different ways. So meet this in whatever way works for you, whatever way works for your brain. I want you to think about just your morning so far, from the moment you opened your eyes till this moment here. Maybe you haven't yet interacted with another human being, or maybe you have. Maybe there's been many already. Maybe you share your home with animals, with people. Maybe you live alone. Whatever your day has been like so far. And I want you to imagine starting that over. So you're coming back into the moment you open your eyes until this moment. And I want you to think about several ways, maybe 3 to 5 times, where there are moments where we could expand our reach, our connection with others, whether verbally or mentally or physically. Where we paused and invited somebody to pull into traffic ahead of us. Maybe we've woken up and just take 5 seconds to send goodness to somebody. Again, that might be a text, it might be a thought, it might be a prayer. The way we greet maybe somebody in our home, a child, a loved one, a roommate, before launching into the to-dos and the plans. Just a heartfelt good morning. Finding places where we can practice micro kindness. Walking into a meeting, coming into the office. Tiny moments, 5 seconds or less. These powerful places where we can help others feel seen, feel included, noticed, appreciated. And knowing that we are extending that same loop to us as we do it. Breathing in, and one final long exhale together. Closing out our practice rather abruptly. My apologies, I just noticed the time. Opening up your eyes. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the kindness you bring to the world and to yourself, the awareness. Be well, everyone. Bye.